Hello, welcome to Floor Models, kit review time. Today we've got Meng's latest. This is the Mark A Whippet, 1/35 scale. As I said, lovely to see the World War I tanks really coming to the fore. Obviously we've had the anniversary of World War I now, but recently the kit manufacturers have really gone back, looked at the World War I stuff, and they've brought us out some amazing releases. So this is the Mark I, or the Mark A Whippet, which was the medium British tank. So this is 1/35 scale from the Tyrannosaurus range. So a quick looking around the box. Obviously the Tank Museum, we've got a very good connection down there. Our very own Steve on the site who works down there. If you've never been, please, if you're an armour guy or anything military in general, go and have a look. It is absolutely fantastic. So as I said, we should get very good references because they've been down and looked at the real thing. A little bit about it, obviously about the being developed for the limited mobility of the Mark I tank and destroyed enemy forces on the battlefield. It's got a 6.1 meters long, 2.6 meters, and it's 14 tons. Okay, so it's quite a large lump, really, even though just for a medium. So in the box itself, a beautiful artwork, as you can see. Let's stick that, it will stand just there, be nice. Come on, stand with me. Yep, that's it. So down in the box we've got the various things. As always, we'll start with the instructions. Let's see what we've got down in here. So usual thing with the Meng, we've got the sort of all the different languages about it, a little bit about the Bovington Tank Museum, and then obviously straight in with the build itself. So charting, you've got two options for the actual markings and things like that. Okay, so usual thing, straight in there. Looks like we've got a sort of an upper hull in one injection molded piece, which is quite nice, and then adding all the armor plating, the steel onto this one, as you can imagine, as we do with most armor, right the way through. Going through, and then obviously we've got the turret up there, and then the positioning for all the machine guns at the top. Okay, and then working its way around, and then we're into the wheels. So we got the sort of the road wheels or the return wheels, and then obviously the main gears for the drive sprockets and the idlers, everything in, making us the entire gear system, as we can see just down on here. It's like this two-plated system that it folds into each other, which we've seen with all the other tanks as well. Very nicely engineered and very straightforward to go in. It looks a lot more complicated than it actually is. Okay, then we got the return rollers running over the top, making sure those are in. And then both of these outer parts, okay, being attached to the main actual hull of the tank itself. Okay, and then we got some of the spare links for the tracks going down on the front there, and then adding all of the smaller little details. As you can imagine, we've got a tow cable, things like that on this one, and right the way through. So your options for this one is for B Company, 6th Battalion, Tank Corps, May 1918. Obviously in the standard sort of green colour, and then we've got down here, we've got the 3rd Light Battalion Tank Corps, 1918 in August, okay, which is the one that is at the Tank Museum, as we know. A few colour call outs down there, obviously they're done in Vallejo. I'm right the way through. So looking down, first of all, I think we'll have a look at this whole set. Looking for my knife, which I've obviously used somewhere. Okay, so we've got a little bit of string for a tow cable. As I said, nothing you'd get massively excited about. We just drop this top camera down just a little bit so we can have a close look. As you can see, beautifully done. We do know Meng now have really got this down packed pretty well. All of the bolts, again, very nicely sharp and detailed, and everything else like that on these. And as you can see, not much going down on here. 2015, say down there in the mold mark, just down there. But you can see, beautifully done, very nice, very sharp. When you run your finger over these bolts, they're sharp, crisp. They're not softly molded or anything else like other manufacturers. With the Meng stuff, it always is that, just that little bit more. Okay, so that's looking very, very nice. Okay, and then if we just pin in here. So this guy is the actual, the lower plate down here. So as you can see, is it lower or upper? I'm not sure on that one. Okay, again, beautifully done. They do look like plates put down there. You catch them in the light, you see all that nice riveting detail, and generally working around all these parts, no problem with flash. All the ejector pins are nicely out of the way down here on the blind side, never usually anywhere we have to worry about. But again, it's just that level of crispness, which is really, really nice. Say you run your hand over it and it feels sharp, you know, and that's something you don't get with other manufacturers. So there we go, that's a sprue A going through there, very nice indeed. Now this isn't the most complex tank we've seen compared with a lot of the other ones where you have parts that go on and on and on forever. This particular one, if you can get in it, do the old-fashioned route. There isn't much to it. It is a medium tank, but generally, I'm going to get them out of here. There we go. So again, this is the actual, those sort of sponsons that go on the outside, which have all the running gear in, which make that sandwich for the wheels. Again, beautifully done. Blind side, this is where the pins are, where these sort of roller wheels are going to go in for the actual road wheels on this one. I'm working right the way over, but again, very nice, very sharp, very crisp details on all of those. Actually really, really nice. No problem with that at all. I think we've probably got, there we have it. I thought that might have been a matched pair, but it's not. Okay, so then down in here again, the other side, very nice, very sharp, very crisp, all of those parts. Got the exhaust system down here, a little bit of hollowing. You probably want to hollow that out a little bit more, but again, the way the bolts and everything is put onto this one, no real burring at either. You've got, you know, obviously the sandwiching between the two kits, we talk about it a lot these days. You know, I have no real problem with that. It's just got a little bit, a couple of swipes will take care of that very, very nicely. And that is the thing with modern kits these days. The things you're looking for, and what I'm looking for from a review point of view, is obviously the quality and the crispness of the mould itself being obviously foremost. Then I'm looking at ejector pins, how deep they go. That always gives you a clue on how easy they are to get in and out of the mould. Obviously some complex parts take a lot more, but generally if they're all seen to be universally the same height and all the rest of it, means they're coming out of the mould pretty much at the good temperature for coming out. I'm then looking at obviously the quality of the plastic itself to make sure it's a nice crisp plastic that's going to sound well, will join well and everything else. Then you're looking at things like burring, and obviously this is the seam that runs between the two from the sandwich of the actual mould and all things like that. And then generally it's just a case of having an overall of it. But really with Meng, you don't have a problem. They're very, very nice, very nicely done. Okay, as you can imagine, a myriad of road wheels down in here, as with all of these. So I think these are going to be a matched pair, which they are. Again, looking down here at the wheels, as you can see, very nicely on this one. The actual toothing for the actual belt itself, the actual drive, the chain, no problem with that at all. These exhausts are like the Louvador ones. They're not hollow, but they're pretty close to it. Some nice deep injection moulding down in there. All of these wheels, all the bolts and the little nodules and the cuts into them and everything else look really nice. These little J hooks down here, beautifully moulded, no problem with any of those at all. Okay, and generally working our way around it. Very nice indeed, no problem with it whatsoever. And let's say this is where this string, which is horrible really, goes on. Wax it down first, looks a lot better. Glued then into the inside of these guys, and then away you go. So very nice on that. And then we've got into here. So your machine guns, because obviously being a medium machine gun, you know, or they say the female type, it tends to have the lighter weaponry, okay? So very nice touch on this one. We've actually got full machine guns on the actual clips there, as you can see on both of these. So you actually got the bullets down there, the guns on the top, the actual ball joints, how they actually fit on, but they're very nicely done, very clean, very nicely molded with all of those. Some nice detail in those, okay? And then we've got the actual track itself, which, as I say, multiple sets of. So you've got 3 sprues of. Okay. And then looking down at these, as you can see, that very nice system. They're like a click fit that they're going to go into each other, and this is what we're saying. Absolutely love this stuff. So what happens is it goes together extremely quickly. Push fit, snap fit together, and away you go. Very, very nice. But generally, you can see the detailing on them, the actual parts themselves, again, quite sharp, very crisp, very nice, very easy to go together, which we absolutely love. And then last up, we got the decals. So decals in a nice little bag, okay, and protected. And then down here, looking at these decals. So as you can see, very nicely done. They've got a nice, maybe a little bit too flat. We'd like to see it a little bit more satin than obviously dead flat like this, but I can understand why they're doing it. They go down very nicely. But as you can see, you've got the markings down there. No problem again. It's cartographed, so I'm surprised they're quite as flat as they are. Cartograph tend to have that right level of, you know, what you're looking for in a modeler. These look a little bit flat, but done by cartograph, so they're beautifully put in. obviously, you know, you've got the Russian one down there, the German markings, and the British one as well. So you've got some nice options down in there, very nicely done. Again, you know, Meng, I haven't done a bad review of a Meng because I've never found one yet. They are great kits. We've built a few of them now. They go together exceptionally well. Meng really have stepped up the bar. They are literally the forefront now of armour modelling and bringing us some great kits, and that is no exception. So what you got down there is the Mark A Whippet British medium tank by Meng, 1/35 scale.